My name is Eleanor Hayes. I'm 68 years old, and for most of my life, I believed that love, real sacrificial love, was enough to hold a family together. I grew up in a quiet little town in Ohio, back when neighbors knew your name and doors stayed unlocked. That's where I met Thomas, my husband, when I was just 19. He had calloused hands from working on engines all day, but when he smiled at me over a slice of cherry pie at the diner, I felt like the luckiest girl in the world. We married young in a small church filled with wildflowers and promised each other forever. Thomas wasn't rich. He was a mechanic, honest, hard-working, the kind of man who'd stay late to help a single mom whose car broke down. I stayed home and raised our 3 beautiful children: Sarah, our fierce firstborn who always knew what she wanted; Michael, our quiet middle child with a sharp mind for numbers; and Emily, our sweet baby girl, the one who could light up a room with her laugh. We didn't have much money. There were nights I stretched 1 chicken across 3 meals, birthdays where gifts were handmade, and dreams of vacations we never took. But our home was warm. Every Sunday the table was full: roast chicken, laughter, stories. Thomas would squeeze my hand under the table and whisper, "Ellie, this is our wealth, right here." I gave everything to those kids. Everything. College funds we saved penny by penny, down payments on their first apartments, bailing Michael out when his sure thing investments went wrong. I never complained, because that's what mothers do, isn't it? We pour ourselves out, hoping one day they'll look back and understand. Then Thomas got sick. Cancer. It came fast and cruel. For 2 years, I barely slept, driving him to treatments, holding his hand through the pain, praying over him every night. When he slipped away on that rainy Tuesday morning 6 months ago, he looked at me with those tired, loving eyes and said, "Ellie, take care of yourself. There's more to our story than you know." I thought he was talking about memories. I cried so hard I couldn't breathe. After the funeral, my children were there. At first, they brought casseroles, hugged me, said all the right things. But slowly something shifted. I saw it in their eyes: calculation. Sarah started asking about the house. "Mom, it's too big for you now, too much upkeep." Michael talked about practical decisions. Emily just looked away, guilty. I told them I wasn't ready to leave. This was our home, where Thomas proposed in the backyard, where we brought each baby through the front door, where he took his last breath. But they didn't listen. One afternoon, they sat me down like I was a stranger. Sarah spoke first, voice calm and cold. "Mom, we've made arrangements. Sunny Meadows Nursing Home. It's lovely. Activities, care around the clock. We're selling the house. The money will cover your stay." Michael added, "Dad didn't leave much. This is the responsible thing." Emily whispered, "I'm sorry," but she signed the papers too. I begged, I cried, "Please, this is all I have left of him." But they'd already decided. They used documents I'd signed in my grief, thinking they were for funeral costs, to declare me incapable. Within days, I was moved into a small room with beige walls and a single window. My home, our home, was sold for $250,000. They told me they'd manage the funds for my care. I saw the relief in their faces. They thought I had nothing left. I sat in that sterile room, surrounded by strangers playing bingo and staring at walls, and for the first time in my life, I felt truly alone. The pain wasn't just losing Thomas, it was losing my children, the ones I'd carried, nursed, sacrificed for. They'd discarded me like an old piece of furniture. Some nights, I couldn't even cry anymore. I just stared at the ceiling, wondering where I'd gone wrong. But then I remembered something. a small key Thomas had pressed into my hand years ago, hidden in my old jewelry box. "For emergencies, Ellie," he'd said with that knowing smile. I'd never used it. Now something pulled at me. Hope, maybe, or just desperation. With the help of a kind nurse who felt sorry for me, I got a ride to our old storage unit. My hands shook as I opened the dusty door. There, beneath boxes of Christmas decorations and Thomas's old tools, was a small safe bolted to the floor. The key turned with a soft click. Inside wasn't junk. It was everything. Deeds to properties I never knew existed, a cozy cabin up north, several rental apartments downtown, a small commercial building, bank statements showing millions in investments, stocks, bonds, a startup that had skyrocketed. Thomas, my quiet mechanic husband, had been secretly investing for decades. Every overtime hour, every side job, he'd built a fortune in silence. And there was a letter in his beautiful handwriting. "Dearest Ellie, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry I kept this from you. I didn't want money to change us or the kids. I wanted them to build their own lives, not wait for ours to end. But I always knew you were strong enough to handle this if needed. Use it wisely, protect yourself, and if they ever forget what family means, teach them. I love you forever. Thomas." I sat on the cold concrete floor and sobbed, not from sadness, but from overwhelming love. He'd protected me even from beyond. My children thought they'd left me with nothing. They were so wrong. I didn't call them screaming. I didn't rush to confront them. No, something stronger stirred in me, quiet, steady resolve. I contacted Mr. Hargrove, our old family lawyer, the only one Thomas had trusted. He confirmed it all. The house sale? Fraudulent. They'd used forged documents. The assets? All mine, hidden safely in trusts they never knew about. We moved carefully. First, I bought the house back, quietly through a company, paying cash above asking. The flippers who bought it were happy to sell. Then we began legal action to reclaim every cent they'd taken. But the real plan, I let them fall. Sarah's real estate deal started failing. Michael's genius investments crashed in a market dip. Emily gambled away her savings and left her pregnant and alone. I heard it all through old neighbors who visited me at Sunny Meadows, thinking I was still the poor, abandoned mother. They pitied me, if only they knew. Emily came first. One stormy night, she appeared at the nursing home, soaked and shaking, belly rounded with new life. "Mom, I'm so sorry. We were wrong. Everything's gone. Can I stay with you just for a little while?" My heart cracked open seeing her like that, my little girl, lost and terrified. But Thomas's words echoed, "Teach them." I hugged her, let her cry into my shoulder, and said, "Yes, darling, you can stay, but there are rules. No money from me. You'll work. You'll learn what it feels like to stand on your own." She took a job at a diner, minimum wage, sore feet, morning sickness in the bathroom between shifts. She came home exhausted, counting change for baby formula. Some nights she'd sit at the little table in my room and cry quietly. "Mom, how did you do this for us? How did you never break?" I'd touch her hand and say, "Love, sweetheart, love keeps you going." She hit bottom the day eviction papers came for her old apartment. She had nothing left. That night, she fell apart in my arms. "I was so selfish. We threw you away like you were nothing. I hate who I became." That's when I knew she was ready. I arranged a meeting with Mr. Hargrove. Emily thought it was about her divorce. Instead, I spread the documents across the table, the deeds, the accounts, the letter from her father. "Sweetheart," I said, voice trembling with both pain and pride, "your dad left more than any of us knew. Millions, All mine. I bought the house back, took back what was stolen." She stared, tears falling. "All this time you knew?" "Yes." "And you let me suffer." I took her hands, because suffering taught you what money never could: empathy, gratitude, strength. I didn't want to rescue you from consequences. I wanted to save you from becoming someone who hurts others for gain. She sobbed harder than I'd ever heard, not from shame alone, but from understanding, deep, soul-shaking understanding. We moved back into our family home together. Emily gave birth to a beautiful little girl she named Rose on my mother. She didn't quit working right away. She volunteered at senior centers, speaking passionately about elder abuse, sharing parts of our story